So, Luke 10, 21 to 24. And at that time, Jesus, full of joy through the Holy Spirit, said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for this is what you were pleased to do. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows who the Son is except the Father, and no one knows who the Father is except the Son and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Then he turned to his disciples and said privately, Blessed are the eyes that see what you see. For I tell you that many prophets and kings wanted to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it. Here, Jesus is comparing his devoted and faithful followers to little children. Because, if you remember from a previous episode, it's exactly what he wants us to be like. We don't need to be wise and learned in the world's eyes. No. There would have been theology professors, and there would have been judges, and there would have been lawyers with years of educational qualifications behind them who couldn't understand what Jesus was all about. To get to the top of the Pharisaical tree, you had to be pretty clever. No. Do you remember Nicodemus? Right at the beginning, he struggled to get his head around Jesus' message. Jesus said, you are Israel's teacher, and yet you do not understand these things? Because Nicodemus had to become like a little child. He had to forget all his learning, sorry, I've just bashed something in my office. He had to forget all his learning, all his cleverness, and become like a child and say, be born again. And he struggled with that, and understandably, I guess. He would have been in advanced years, and he would have been looked up to by all his students and pupils and all the other Pharisees and all the other Sanhedrin, because he was one of the greatest. But yet here was Jesus saying, you have to become the least. Wow. Yet here we are, in the 21st century, or whenever you're listening to this, ordinary people, tradesmen, fishermen, carpenters, builders, soldiers, whatever profession you are, all were trusted by Jesus to take his message to the world around them. Also note what Jesus says later on. Many prophets and kings wanted to see what you see but did not see it, and to hear what you hear but did not hear it. The whole of the Old Testament was written by people who would have loved to have seen and heard Jesus, but the reality of his life and mission and the truth of his message he brought was shown to ordinary people at the time, but also since then, in the generations since then. Ordinary men and women who history has never recorded have heard his message and responded to it, and have transformed lives of many people around them, but we will never know about it until we get to heaven. And we hear the stories of people who were never celebrated, never written about, never noticed, but who made a massive impact on the life and the history of the church. People just like you and me.